Nassau Village is the site of the country's latest homicide. I'm Jared Higgs. I'll have those details straight ahead in the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition.
And new police recruits reminded of some golden rules as they seek to make a difference in the war on crime. So don't you move. The Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Good evening, I'm LaDawn Davis and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. Thanks so much for tuning in. Topping the news tonight, a regular Friday night turned deadly for two siblings operating a convenience store here in the capital. One of them was shot and killed after being held up by gunmen who remain on the run tonight. Jared Higgs tells us the series of events began in Nassau Village.
Police say it was shortly after 8 p.m. when two brothers were accosted by three gunmen at a store they owned on Forbes Street in Nassau Village. Chief Superintendent Paul Rolls says the brothers tried to escape, and this is what unfolded.
They then ran out of the store towards the rear, being pursued by the men who discharged several shots in their direction, hitting the victim multiple times to the back.
The victim's brother then placed him in his vehicle and attempted to transport him to hospital, but not before being intercepted by officers on patrol.
The patrol car observed them driving at a high rate of speed and intercepted the vehicle where it came to a stop here at the service station and summoned EMS to render some assistance. And EMS made a check of the victim and pronounced him lifeless.
The victim has been identified as Douglas Higgs, aka Ducky. Chief Superintendent Roll is seeking more information from the public on this latest homicide. The CDU boss is also appealing for details on two other killings that occurred earlier in the week.
I wish to make a further appeal for two matters that occurred. One on the east-west highway earlier in the week, where persons were driving and had to stop due to some stones in the road, and persons ran out of the Montel Heights area and discharged shot, fatally wounding one of those individuals. We also make a further appeal for information on the homicide last night involving the police officer. And persons would have seen this, and we're asking them to reach out to us at CDU, or they can call any of the police.
Mr. Roll did confirm that police have a man in custody in connection with the killing of Sergeant Wayne Roll. He was unable to confirm reports that the person of interest was out on bail for murder at the time. Jared Higgs, ZNS Network News.
A jet ski operator also rushed to hospital after he was shot today. Police say around 1 p.m. the male jet ski operator was targeted and shot in the leg by two unknown armed assailants in the area of the old customs warehouse building on Awa Key. He was taken to hospital where he is detained in stable condition. Investigations are ongoing. As the fear of criminal activity grips communities throughout New Providence, 32 newly graduated police officers will join the front line of the battle. Minister of National Security Dr. Bernard Nottage addressed the new graduates, advising them of the serious impact that law and order has on the nation and the impact issues like crime will have on the economy. He also told the new officers that their performance would be judged by the general public.
You will find that the public wants to feel the decrease in criminal activities, perceive the difference in the level, and be able to believe the crime statistics no matter how accurate they are. The public will be the arbiter of whether crime is up and down, and they will be the arbiter of your performance as a result of that.
The Minister of National Security also warned the new officers against temptations of corruption.
You to achieve to patrol our streets well and to not become entangled with those who will persuade you to dishonor the force. Your good name, your country, or your family by engaging in behaviors that will bring you into disrepute and cause you to lose out on a distinguished and reputable career on the force.
Police also seeking your help in locating a missing teen. 14-year-old Nicoyette Ferguson of Market Street was last seen in the area on November 20th. She is of dark brown complexion, medium build, and about 5'3" to 5'5" in height. Police are appealing to members of the public who may know the whereabouts of Nicoyette Ferguson is asked to contact police. The Constitutional Commission took its educational campaign ahead of the gender equality referendum to Acklands Friday night. The 4 bills currently before the House of Assembly are intended to bring about equality between men and women with regards to citizenship and eliminate discrimination based on sex. The Commission attempted to clear up some of the confusion around those bills. Cleopatra Murphy has a story.
Despite public apathy over the gender equality referendum, former Justice Ruby Nottage says Bahamians should exercise their right to vote in this constitutional referendum. Unlike the gambling referendum, the results will be binding and citizens get the rare opportunity to participate in instituting law.
It is binding. Whatever happens in this constitutional referendum becomes law or it fails to become law. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by fails to become law. It cannot, if it fails to become law, be picked up and carried further.
Nottage was addressing Acklands residents on the 4 constitutional amendment bills at the Spring Point Community Clinic Friday night, addressing Bill 2 that would allow a Bahamian woman's foreign spouse to gain citizenship in the same way of a Bahamian male's foreign spouse. Theresa Moxie Ingram says the intent is to create full equality between men and women. The educational campaign's co-coordinator says provisions have been made to address concerns over marriages of convenience.
If you're talking equal treatment under the law, if you're talking about bringing our supreme law in line with modern thinking, bringing our supreme law in line with the reality that women nowadays are as independent in the majority of instances as men, then you're talking about changing our supreme law so that men and women, Bahamian men or Bahamian women, are treated equally under that law.
Nottage also made clear that Bill 4 has nothing to do with gay marriage, but simply makes it illegal to discriminate against a person because they are male or female. Residents had questions, but Deputy Administrator for the Acklands District, Francina Neely, says the meeting was very effective.
There were so many rumors going around and persons were confused, but I think after tonight's meeting, there were a number of questions that they had that were answered in their favor, and they are more clear now on the issues, especially number 4.
The next forum is scheduled for Cat Island on Thursday. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Well, over in Andros, the Bahamas Agricultural and Marine Institute is preparing for a new academic term come January. Minister with responsibility for the school, V. Alfred Gray, telling ZNS News that while classes will continue, students will not be moved to the official site until mid-January as construction is ongoing.
Well, we anticipate new students will come in January. We do not expect to start the school year on the site because there has been some slight delays in the construction efforts. But I am told from good source, those who know construction well, that the buildings will be finished by mid-January, end of January, and we might be able to move to the site sometime midterm January, March. And so I'm looking forward to it with great anticipation. Of course, nothing stops. Everything continues, even though we are not quite ready to go into and onto the campus for school.
With the grouper season now closed, persons found in violation could face stronger penalties. That could be in the amount of a $5,000 fine or a year in prison or even both upon conviction. Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources V. Alfred Gray spoke about the stiffer penalties implemented for those who breach the Fisheries Act, and he stressed the importance of putting these measures in place.
No, if we preserve it today, it will be around for generations. If we do not do that, we will soon be like most of the countries in the Caribbean where they do not have any fish. And that's why the poachers seem to think that the Bahamas is the place of choice to go when they're looking for fish, because we have been able to preserve sustainably whatever is our fisheries in the Bahamas.
And still to come in the weekend edition of the Bahamas Tonight, we'll tell you how the urban renewal program is being felt in the life of a senior citizen. That story and more straight ahead.